Hey, this is C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my predictions for World Series of Fighting 10, Branch versus Taylor, which happens on June 21st. Overall, it's actually not a bad card. Even the prelims are pretty good. You got Derrick, Mehmen, a couple prospects, two women's fights on the prelims. You got guys like Lance Palmer, Jessica Aguilar, defensive title. Georgi Karakhanyan versus Rick Glenn should be a really good fight. So it's actually a pretty good card here. Yeah, I like what I see. You know what? Let's just get started. 3 title fights today. Or on this card, my bad. On this card. So, for the inaugural middleweight title, we have David Branch versus Jesse Taylor. Okay, David Branch has a 13-3 record with 4 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. He's 32 years old on a 3-fight win streak, training out of Renzo Gracie's. He's a legit Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. When I've seen him fight, I mean, he's shown to be something of a grinder sometimes. His wrestling's pretty good. His top control's really good. Stand-up's not the greatest. It's kind of similar to Jesse Taylor in a sense. I think Jesse Taylor's a better wrestler, though. He has a 27-9 record, 5 wins by KO or TKO, 14 wins by sub. 8 of his 9 losses are by submission. He's 30 years old on a 7-fight win streak. Most recently beating Elvis Mutapik. I always pronounce that guy's name wrong. Mutapchik, or in World Series of Fighting. I know David Branch beat like Paulo Filo and geez, I forget who else last time out. Or in his last couple fights. Jesse Taylor trains out of Team Quest. He's a good wrestler with good top control. Striking's like average, you know. So it's tough for me to call because, like I said, I think Jesse Taylor's the better wrestler, whereas, you know, David Branch is has the better Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It is a bit alarming too that Taylor has so many losses by submission. Not as of late though, so that speaks well for him. Actually, the last time he got subbed, I believe it was I want to say it was in MFC against Talis Lates. Got triangle armbarred, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong there. But, you know, like I said, both guys are getting to the ground. I don't know if this fight will be that aesthetically that entertaining, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm actually going to I'm leaning towards Branch just because he is that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I can see him catching Jesse Taylor. And also Branch, like I said, isn't a bad wrestler himself. I can see this fight actually taking place in a clinch a lot of times. But, you know, it really could go either way. Stylistically, they're somewhat similar. But I'll go with David Branch to win this one. Could go either way, to be perfectly honest with you. Next fight after that, Georgi Karakhanyan fights Rick Glenn. Yeah, Rick Glenn, 14-2 record with 1 draw, 7 wins by KO or TKO, 5 wins by sub. He's 25 years old on a 7-fight win streak, training out of Rufus Sport. He has good stand-up. He fights as a southpaw. He's got a really good left hand and really good elbows. He is training with Ben Askren in like Rufus Sport, so his wrestling has been improving. I actually watched his last fight against Artur Rofi, or I think that's his name. Somewhat, the first round didn't go well for him. He got his back taken. Pretty much had to fight an armbar the whole time, but was winning the stand-up in the second round using his left hand with either punches or left elbow, and sprawled against Artur's takedowns. So he's fighting Georgi Karakhanyan, who's coming off a win over Lance Palmer, 23-3 record with 1 draw, 4 wins by KO or TKO, 13 wins by sub, 29 years old on a 9-fight win streak, training out of Millennia MMA. Other guys that train out there, I want to say Sean Strickland trains out of there, and Lorenz Larkin, I know, trains out of there. His stand-up's pretty good. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, though, is one of his strongest points. Like, he got a really nifty guillotine choke on Lance Palmer in his last fight out. He is good off his back. He'll throw triangles and arm bars from his back as well. This should be interesting. On the feet, I like what I see from Rick Glenn. He was getting hit, though, against Arthur. Jeez, forgot that guy's last name in his last bout out. But I think he might even have Rick Glenn might have the superior stand-up. Arguably. I would definitely favor stand-up, but I think Karakhanyan's definitely better on the ground. And judging from his last fight, Karakhanyan's also fought the higher level of competition, beat Lance Palmer, fought the likes of Patricio Pitbull, Joe Warren, geez, who was it? He's fought some other good guys in. I just forgot who. I think Karakhanyan could take this fight to the ground eventually. That's the thing. And out-grapple Rick Glenn. I am going to go with Georgi Karakhanyan to win that one. Next fight after that, Emi, the Kamikaze Angel Fujino, fights Jessica Jag Aguilar for the women's strawweight title. Okay, Fujino has a 13-7 record, 6 wins by sub, 7 wins by decision. She's 33 years old. It's interestingly enough, she's actually coming off a loss to Mizuki Inoue. I would love to see Mizuki Inoue in the UFC. Her boxing is excellent for not even just for a female fighter, just excellent for a fighter. And she actually has a pretty underrated ground game as well. Like many female fighters coming out of Japan, she has strong Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but her stand-up's kind of lacking. And that's pretty much part for the course of Fujino. Aguilar, 17-4 record, 2 wins by KO or TKO, 8 wins by sub. She's 32 years old on an 8-fight win streak. Was recently beating Alita Gray by arm triangle. She trains out of ATT. She has some good boxing and some solid Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills. Aguilar, definitely the more well-rounded fighter. Beat Megumi Fujii. She should have the better stand-up here. I would think that she can avoid the takedowns of Fujino. I'm going to go with Jessica Aguilar to win that one. Next fight after that, we have Luiz Firmino versus Tyson Griffin. Tyson Griffin, 16-7 record, 6 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. He also has 3 losses by KO or TKO. 30 years old, training out of AKA. He has good kickboxing. I actually like his kicks. He's a good wrestler. His scrambling ability is good as well. His chin, though, as of late, has been a bit questionable. He got knocked out clean by Bart Palshetsky. Gomi knocked him out. Someone else did knocked him out, or knocked him down or knocked him out. Most recently lost to Jay-Z Cavalcante. Kind of a questionable stoppage, though. One thing that's alarming with Tyson Griffin is he only won 2 of his last 7 fights. He hasn't been looking that great as of late. I gotta say, he really hasn't. Firmino, 17-6 record, 1 win by TKO, 7 wins by sub. He's 32 years old on a 4-fight win streak, training out of the Black Zillions. He has some solid wrestling. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, good ground and pound, and he's just a really strong guy. He has some really notable, some pretty good wins in his last 3 fights. He most recently in World Series of Fighting beat Jacob Volkman. Always kind of a tough out type of guy. Before that, he went 5 rounds with Luis Palomino, taking him down, pounding him out. And before that, he beat Toby Amada. Like I said, Tyson Griffin at his best, yeah, I'd probably pick him, but he just hasn't been looking that great. I think Firmino wins this one. I think he might be able to even take Tyson Griffin down and work his ground and pound and his overall ground game. I'm going to go with Firmino to win this one. Next fight after that, LoBosco fights Lance Palmer, or is it Bosco? LoBosco. Nick LoBosco, 7-0 undefeated record, 3 wins by KO or TKO, 2 wins by sub, 29 years old. He has some good stand-up, most recently getting a head kick and follow-up ground and pound victory on Fabio Melo. Lance Palmer, 7-1 record, 3 wins by sub, 4 wins by decision, 26 years old. He's training out of Team Alpha Male. He's a good wrestler, good top control. His stand-up is improving. I gotta go with Lance Palmer. He's, despite the loss to Georgi Karakhanyan, he's a very good fighter. Lance Palmer, top pro. I feel he's a blue chip prospect. Trains out of good camp. Has some really good wrestling. I'm gonna go with Lance Palmer to win this one. Okay, on to the prelims. Dave Huckaba fights Derrick Mehmen. Dave Huckaba coming off that win over Ray Sefo, 21-5 record, 17 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. He also has 3 losses by KO or TKO. He's 40 years old on a 4-fight win streak. He's got some solid stand-up, kind of like a tough, gritty guy. Derrick Mehmen, 17-5 record, 11 wins by KO or TKO, 2 wins by sub. He also has 2 losses by submission. 29 years old on a 5-fight win streak. Training out of ATT. He has one of the best knockouts over Hollis Gracie, where he threw an overhand, which connected. Hollis kind of turned Hollis around. He kind of walks and just does a Ric Flair flop to the ground. It is absolutely comical. And he's been looking pretty good as of late. He has some good stand-up. He's fun in Strikeforce as well. He's fun in different divisions. He's fun in like light heavyweight and heavyweight. He's actually not a bad wrestler as well. I'm going to go Derrick Mehmen to win that one. Next fight after that, I don't know anything about these guys, so it's kind of a pick and fight for me. It's Rudy Morales fights Timur Valiev. Timur Valiev, he's from Russia. He has a 6-1 record, 2 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by sub. He's 24 years old on a 6-fight win streak. Rudy Morales, 3-0 undefeated record, 1 win by KO, 2 wins by decision, 29 years old, training out of One Fight Team. Gotta go with the, Russian, Dagestani, Bulgarian, Chechen invasion that's happening in MMA these days. I'm gonna go with Timur Valiev to win that one. Next fight after that, Angel DeAnda fights Krasimir, the wrestler, Mladenov. Well, DeAnda has an 11-3 record, 10 wins by KO or TKO, 1 win by decision. Also has 2 losses by KO or TKO. Most recently, I think it's most recently losing to Tyrone Spong. Actually, DeAnda doesn't have. He's actually mainly a stand-up guy. He's mainly a striker. Mladenov, 10-0 undefeated record, 1 win by TKO, 4 wins by sub. He's a Bulgarian wrestler, He's 28 years old. I'm gonna go with the wrestler here, Krasimir, the wrestler Mladenov for the win. Next fight after that, Marciea Black Widow Allen fights Ashlee Evans Smith. Marciea Allen, I remember she had a fun fight in Invicta actually against Jessamine Duke. Has a 2-fight win streak since that fight actually. 3-1 record, 1 win by TKO, 1 win by sub. He's 32 years old on a 2-fight win streak. Actually has some pretty good stand-up. I can't really say if she specializes in anything. She always came off to me as pretty athletic actually. But Ashlee Evans Smith, 2-0 undefeated record, 1 win by TKO, 1 win by decision. She's 26 years old, training out of sub fighter. She's most notable for a recent TKO win over Fallon Fox. She is actually a pretty good prospect, though. She's a good wrestler. I know she trains with, I believe she trains with Carlos Esparza. And you kind of see it. She has good wrestling, some good ground and pound, and some good top control. I got to go with Ashlee Evans Smith to win this one. I think she can take the fight to the ground, use her superior grappling to win that one. Next fight after that, Andrew Yates fights Brandon Hempleman. Hempleman, he most recently lost to Marlon Moraes got leg kicked to death, man. This guy, he like had a hard time standing. 9-2 record, 1 win by TKO, 3 wins by sub. He's a good wrestler, and as that fight showed, a resilient guy, you know. Andrew Yates, 7-1 record, 1 win by TKO, 4 wins by sub. He's 25 years old, training out of One Fight Team. He's got some good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills. You know, I'm gonna go with Brandon Hempleman to win that one. Next fight after that, don't know anything about these guys actually, as Justin Jaynes fights Jimmy Spicuzza. Or is it Jaynes? I'll go Jaynes. Justin Jaynes, 3-1 record, 1 win by KO, 2 wins by sub. So he is a finisher. He's training out of Extreme Couture. Jimmy Spicuzza, 3-0 undefeated record, 2 wins by submission, 1 win by decision, 29 years old, training out of Drysdale Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, BJJ, and he does have some good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills. Alright, I'd assume he has good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills. I'm going to go Jimmy Spicuzza to win that one. Next fight after that, another female fight as Lynn lights out Alvarez fights Sofia Bagherdai. Alvarez, 6-3 record, 1 win by TKO, 5 wins by sub. She also has 1 loss by TKO or 2 losses by sub. So she is a finisher with no decisions. Never been to decision. She's 28 years old. And her last 6 fights, win or lose, ended in the first round. She most recently beat Amber Stotzenberger. Got a good overhand, knocked her down, followed up with a rear naked choke. Good victory for her there. You know, she's got some good stand-up, but got some good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills as well. Sofia Bagherdai, 5-2 record, 3 wins by KO or TKO, 2 wins by decision. Training out of Millennia MMA. I remember I saw her fight in Invicta, losing to Ashlee Cummins. She does have some good Muay Thai actually, but she fought, what was it, like Sarah Malloy, I think, in XFC. And ended up getting a win there. I want to say she won with ground and pound actually. So this one's hard for me to call actually. I have seen both of these female fighters fight. I'm kind of leaning towards Sofia Bagherdai. She does. I want to say she's gonna have a little more diversity in the stand-up. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Sofia Bagherdai to win that one. And finally, I don't know anything about these guys as Tanner Cowan fights AJ Williams. AJ Williams, no pro MMA bouts. He has a 3-1 amateur record, 2 KO wins as an amateur, 1 submission win as an amateur. He's 27 years old. Trains at a good camp with Syndicate. Guys that train out of Syndicate, Mike Pyle, Vinny Magalesh. There's a lot of other guys now. Roxanne Malaferry starting to train out of there. It's starting to become a pretty well-known camp these days. Tanner Cowan, no pro MMA bouts. His 8-1 record as an amateur, 3 wins by TKO as an amateur, 1 win by sub as an amateur. But he is for his amateur record, he's on a 7-fight win streak. You know, I'll go with AJ Williams to win this one. This fights. To my knowledge, he fights at the better camp. To recap, the main card, I have David Branch over Jesse Taylor, Georgi Karakhanyan beating Rick Glenn, Jessica Jag Aguilar over Emi, the Kamikaze Angel Fujino, Luiz Buscape Firmino over Tyson Griffin, and Lance Palmer beating Nick LoBosco. On the prelims, I got Derrick Mehmen beating Dave Huckaba, Timur Valiev over Rudy Morales, Krasimir Mladenov over Angel DeAnda, Ashlee Evan Smith over Marciea Allen, Brandon Hempleman beating Andrew Yates, Jimmy Spicuzza beating Justin Jaynes, Sofia Bagherdai over Lynn Alvarez, and AJ Williams over Tanner Cowan. So that's it for my predictions for World Series of Fighting 10, Branch versus Taylor. If you have any comments, just leave them below. And that's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.